You're not misreading that. 4%, they're losing that game. I want to underline the point. The Mariners used Eduard Bizzardo in all 5 games of the division series against Detroit. And then games 2 and 4 of the American League Championship Series. This is a lot of work, right? We put him up game by game. Case, Anthony? So you could see this is real work for this guy. We're using this guy. And you're losing a game 5-0 in game 6 with game 7 the next night. If he is indeed your high-leverage reliever, you do not use him there. They chose to burn him, to use him for 2 innings, which normally, again, takes him out of a game the next night. It was only 15 pitches, to be fair. But it's 3 outs, sit down, 3 more outs. There's a reason that's rarely done, that you rarely do back-to-back. So that's 2 mistakes already. They punted a game away that was within reach, and now they used an A-squad reliever in a game that was already lost. Are you following this? Keep that in your back pocket. So let's move to the 7th inning last night. Game 7, 3-1 Seattle. The Mariners have the World Series in their sights. They're 9 outs away. The Blue Jays, though, threaten. They got a walk, a single, a bunt, set up 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. So let's stop and think for a moment, all right? You're up 2. There are 2 guys in scoring position with the top of the order coming up. There it is. George Springer, Nathan Lucas, not as dangerous. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. All right? They're up 2. What can hurt you when you're up 2? 2nd and 3rd, right? 1 out. Top of the order coming up. That's what is in danger now. You're up 2, there's 2 on. The game is on the line. Right here, right now. This is the game. The pennant is on the line. It's going to be decided right now. In the bullpen in Seattle, he'll get to speak in a minute. Case, you'll get to speak in a minute. There have been bad choices in the postseason in recent years. The Mets sent Matt Harvey out for the 9th against the Royals, lost the World Series. Kevin Cash took Blake Snell out against the Dodgers. I defended that one, but they lost the World Series. I think this may be the worst. This isn't 20 years ago when relief pitchers waited out in the bullpen for the 9th inning. We use openers now. The Brewers were using their closer this week, working the 6th and 7th. Munoz is the move. He had thrown 7 1/3 innings in the postseason, hadn't given up a run or a single hit. You take your chances with the end of the game, but you need someone to put out the fire that is happening to your season right there in the 7th inning. You're up 2, 2 on, top of the order. Also, I hate to keep piling on, this would be George Springer's 3rd time this series seeing Bizzardo. He hadn't seen Munoz at all. It doesn't stop. This is clear as day, but no, it's a relief ace, Andres Munoz.
Did you consider going to Munoz, and why did you like Bizzardo better than Munoz in that situation?
Well, I mean, I think, like we said, Bizzardo's been doing it all season long and has been so consistent at it, and he's done such a good job all year. And, you know, we felt really comfortable with him out there, the way he's been throwing the ball, especially in this series, and you know, it was a good spot for him.
No, Bizzardo has been good all year. He's been used in big spots, to be fair, in the regular season. But how many times has Bizzardo been used the day after going 2 innings? That's the applicable question for a manager. That's what a manager has to know. And the answer is twice. Twice all year. In neither game did he complete the inning. He went 1/3 of an inning in July, 3 hits, 2 walks, 2 runs. They had to take him out. Then, in September, he went 2/3, gave up 2 hits, got relieved. He didn't finish either of these innings. So actually, he hasn't been doing it all year. Not the way he was used last night. And in this case, your season can end. And it did. The game was on the line in the 7th. Dan Wilson and the Mariners did not meet the emergency. This was a very winnable game and a very winnable series. And instead, the Mariners are going home, have never been to a World Series. And that's a real shame. Let us know what you think. How do you think Dan Wilson, I want to be trying to be fair here, how should he have handled George Springer's at bat in the 7th? You can stay with Brian Wu. You can go with Bizzardo, go with Munoz. You can intentionally walk Springer. You have options. Let us know what you think. We'll have it for you a little later on in the show. Managerial check right off the bat. Wow. Anthony Recker is here. Wow. Sean Casey is here. Are we ready, gentlemen? Wow. A lot to absorb. I had to, like, withhold things, Case, because it's like, wait. He hadn't even seen, he'd seen Bizzardo twice. He hadn't seen Munoz. I just kept piling up. Right. All right, give me your take on that.
Well, first off, wow. There was a lot of stuff there. that last point that you made only twice all year, and he made it a third inning, 1/3 of an inning, and 2/3 of an inning.
Yeah.
That was a big point. I did think when they went to commercial, right when Bizzardo was coming out of the bullpen, I just thought, oh, it's got to be Munoz.
It's Munoz.
It's got to be Munoz because he's only pitched a couple times in the postseason, in the series, and you know you're coming up. You're right. You've swung it. This is the game. It's 7th inning. It's 2nd and 3rd, 3-1. You got the big dogs coming up, and Springer and Guerrero are the two guys that could really beat you. I just thought right there, if you needed Bizzardo later or if you needed to line it up, and the other point that Dan made, which I understand him saying that we've been doing this all year. Yeah, but that's for 162 games. With 162 games, guys have to have roles. They got to set it up. When we're back against the wall, there is no tomorrow game, you got to go with who your number one closer is right there.
Right. Even if Bizzardo had been rested, if they're both equally rested, I go Munoz.
Right.
But you elected to burn the guy the night before. He's not good at that. All right, Anthony, go ahead.
I mean, look, you call it all hands on deck for a reason. You do that because you want to use your best players in any and every situation possible to give your team the best chance to win. And realistically, what happened is you ended up with probably your second best reliever on the mound in what turned out to be the biggest spot in the game. And unfortunately, Dan Wilson's going to look back and say, I could have handled that differently, most likely. Now, when I look at this, I think, okay, so what was he thinking? I know we heard from him, but I would also argue maybe he's thinking, well, it's the 7th inning, there's only one out. Good chance I see the top of this order again. I want Munoz for that spot. And I understand that thinking, but because of the way the situation played out, because there were 2 runners on, and that felt like, to your point, this is where we need to bring in Munoz because we have to put out this fire. This is the one.
Right.
What's in front of you, deal with that. It's like when you're in a Game 6 and you know there could be a Game 7 tomorrow. We got to win Game 6 first. This is winner take all. If we don't win this game, we go to a Game 7. We're going all in. We'll deal with tomorrow. Same thing with the 7th inning versus the 9th inning.
See, he was asked the follow-up here by a very polite Seattle press corps, but at least one that is paying attention. Said the follow-up to that, we ran the one soundbite, but the follow-up was, understanding that Bizzardo has been great, Munoz not getting in until after you lost the lead. Does that stick with you at all? Because you would figure, like, that should bother you that by the time you brought in your best guy, your game had been lost.
It'd be over.
And now I understand you bringing in your relief ace. The Brewers were bringing in Abner Uribe in the 6th or 7th, saying the game's on the line right here, right now. In the 1970s, Billy Martin brought Sparky Lyle in the 4th inning. Why? There was guys on base and George Brett was up. That's in the 70s case. So, we've gotten stuck in this thinking, and somehow I think he's stuck in that thinking. He's my closer. I got to wait for my big guy.
Yeah.
No, the game's happening now.
Yeah, and a few years ago when we saw Tito bring in Andrew Miller, I think that was one of the first times in this generation we're like, wow, he's bringing him in the 5th or whatever.
How uncomfortable for the opponent.
How uncomfortable, right. Big situation. You're bringing in a guy that's going to shut this down.
Right.
He's a strikeout-type pitcher. Munoz is a guy that could put out the fire right there. Punch out and then whatever. But yeah, I actually think if Dan is going to look at this and say,